Hello and welcome to episode 25, the last episode of this season of the 2026 season, if I counted correctly. Obviously, I'll make a little 25.5 episode before episode 26 which will be part of our new season, where I'll look back at the previous season and look forward to what is to come. But let's quickly go over the races that we'll do in this episode, starting off with the Oita Urban Classic Road Race, a hilly race, perfect for the classic racers and perfect for the hill racers. Next up, we have the Tour of Iran, again quite hilly with those uphill finishes in race 3 and 4. That is where the general classification will be made and will be perfect for our hill racers. Next, we have the Gravel and Tar Classic, a classic race in Australia, where we have a sponsor objective of having a 9 visibility. Plenty of difficulties there for us. However, it is during the Tour of Southland where all of our star riders will be racing. So can a B team do well there in that classic race, while our A team tries to win the Tour of Southland? You see many flat races, you see time trials, you see mountains, uphill finishes, windy sections. Who will win the Tour of Southland? Will it be someone from KoRail? We'll have to find out. Let's first start it off here with the Oita Urban Classic Road Race, a race in Japan. As you know, we want to do these Asian races and we want to perform in these Asian races.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race.
A very short introduction there by the commentator, and who is back from his elongated rest period. It is indeed Paul Fietzke, our number 1 rider here of the team, back again here in these races. Happy to have him back. And as this route is hilly as hell, as you can see here, there's absolutely no breakaway going on. And if there will be a breakaway that will form, as you can see there very quickly, there is no chance that they'll make it all the way towards the end. So we were joining us back again in the last 9 kilometers. And again, as the commentator says, people will be sore. It is up and down and up and down. It is extremely hilly. The peloton is already broken apart. Jon has already used up all his energy. We only have 3 riders remaining here with 7 kilometers left to go. I tried to maintain as much energy as we can. It is, again, an uphill finish here for us. It will be very, very difficult to do so if I don't have a proper lead out here for our riders. With 5 kilometers to go, we are looking stable and steady. Van Strijtem here doing an excellent lead out, trying to conserve as much energy as possible while pushing hard still in the downhill sections and conserving energy in the downhill sections. Doing an incredible job here, to be honest, towards these last kilometers, making sure that he does not exhaust himself too quickly and can carry our team towards these final 2 kilometers here, where Turnbull is now leading out for Fietzke, giving it all that he has. Keeping on the wheel of Turnbull as long as possible is Fietzke until the last kilometer, where he sprints into this final corner. Another corner once again, where he goes through in first place and very easily gets across the line as first. Any race that Fietzke participates in is almost guaranteed a victory for him. What an incredible season this German rider has had here for our team. A first place here for Paul Fietzke. A 4th place for Joseph Turnbull. What an incredible result here for our team. Excellent positioning here in this last kilometer. Excellent positioning in those final 2 corners here for Paul Fietzke. Nothing else that he could do here. Nothing better, I would say, that he could do. An easy victory here for Paul Fietzke on his return to racing for our team. KoRail 2nd in the general classification. Sadly for us, not winning it. The Japanese team winning it in their home race, so congratulations to them. Important for us, Paul Fietzke winning it for us. 2nd and 3rd place indeed for the Japanese team, so I guess that is a well-deserved victory there for them. Great job here by the Japanese team. More importantly for us is the victory here in the Oita Urban Classic Road Race. Great job here by Paul Fietzke, knowing that he has those hills and has the experience in those hills, knowing that he is that classic rider. A great job here by him. 2nd place here for us in team classification, as we said earlier, so no chance here for us to win that, but a great job here, honestly, by us. Paul Fietzke winning his first race in like 4 episodes after his big pause, basically his big rest, making sure that he's well rested now for these final races that are up and coming. On now to the Tour of Iran, where again we have a bit of a B team here, hoping that we can give them a podium here in this 2.2 tour.
Hello to one and all. Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat. The race will take place in beautiful weather conditions.
The weather conditions here are beautiful, thankfully, in this lovely Tour of Iran. Probably not the safest place to race at this moment, but thankfully we have a video game, and that means that it's easier for us. Starting this race off a bit weirdly, as I decide to send out Yu Sarang and Heo Sangsu, a tactic that we've not done very often in the previous races, but wanting to have two riders here in the breakaway, as I saw this other team also having two riders in the breakaway. So I'm hoping that this will be the move for us in this 140 kilometers stage. Not the easiest stage here for us, but hoping to basically pressure on and keep up the pace here with our team. You see the last kilometer, people are not really riding for this for these points and these bonus seconds, but at the end Heo gets beaten by the Japanese rider here towards the line. I am totally okay with that, and we just continue on cruising here in this race. The mountain points here will be for you as he gets across the line there as first, as he is still the, at least in the previous season, the #1 mountain rider here in the previous season. A big sprint here by Heo towards this second line, where he does get additional bonus seconds once again. So 4 bonus seconds here for Heo in total. Great job here by him, to be honest. And we move very quickly towards the final kilometers of this race. Once again, last 8 kilometers of this race, where we have our lead out train going. Again, not the best season here for him, and this race will definitely not be the best for him either, but still always a sturdy helper of the team, making sure that he does the proper lead-outs, make sure that we are in front of the other teams, so that is always good. Thank you very much for your effort, Yu Sarang. In the last 3 kilometers of this race, we still have so many riders remaining with so much energy, and it was quite unexpected here for me, meaning that I am basically not using my energy properly here with our team. So I do a very early sprint here with our riders. 1 kilometer left to go. I sprint with everyone. Cole is so far back here in the team, and that means that we do not have the positioning that we want to. Do our Korean riders make up for that here in their sprint? Not really, with a 7th place here by Heo Sangsu and then 10th place by Kim Yeon-sok. So not really the sprint here by our team, not really the result here that I wanted by our team in this first stage of the Tour of Iran. Still a 7th place by Heo Sangsu, so not too horrible by our Korean rider. Thankfully, he is carrying us currently in 4th positions thanks to those bonus seconds. The rest of our team falling behind Yu Sarang here all the way in most towards the bottom, basically, in the general classification, or in the stage classification, but up ahead in the top 10 thanks to those bonus seconds. So good job, Yu Sarang. Still, Heo doing a fantastic job in the general classification. Good job in that sprint, even though he was part of that lead-out train. Was supposed to do much, much worse. Get across the line way later. So good job here by Heo, making sure that we at least get across the line in a top 10 position in this first stage of the Tour of Iran. Again, a very weird stage that went with a downhill section, and this second stage has an uphill section towards the finish, and that's something that we're normally pretty good at.
It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining, and of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
Mountain points up for grabs here at the beginning of this stage, and as usual we send out Owen Cole, who has fantastic stamina today. Look at those statistics, +3 for him, doing well in the mountains, in the sprints, in everything that he has. So great here for Owen Cole, who has been on a tear in the previous episodes, statistics wise and health wise, hoping for him to actually convert those statistics into a win at some point, as he did not do as well in the Tour de Langkawi. At least there he got the mountain jersey, so I'm hoping for him to do the same. I get a little bit caught out here by these riders who jump away in front of me. One of the riders loses his energy just before the line, and he gets across the line here as a second. So again, I did not expect them to really push on here in this first mountain points, and that means that we are a little bit behind here in these mountain points. 4 points here for Owen Cole, but another mountain point up ahead, and that is where we will want to be in first, and we are in first here in this second mountain point. You see here Owen Cole strong enough to just cycle away from the other rider in the breakaway, getting across the line here as first, making sure that he gains the lead in the mountain points here in this tour, and we'll definitely have it here in this race towards the third stage of today's of the Tour of Iran. On to the last 7 kilometers here of this race. As you can see here, it has been exhausting for Yu Sarang, who already pulled up here in our race. And again, an uphill section finish, or an uphill finish, I should say, here in the second stage of the Tour of Iran, which normally would suit our riders quite well, especially Heo, who is an expert in those uphill finishes, who won many races uphill. So I'm hoping for him to do the same thing here. A bit of a corner section here, and obviously we want to be first in and out of that corner. Doing a great job here by Carpentier, who does not have these statistics today, sadly, for him. Big lead out now by our Korean riders. Can we make it here towards the finish line as first? Big corner here where we want to be at first. 1 kilometer remaining, sprinting with Heo, and Cole trying to jump from his wheel, but getting a bit blocked here by the other riders, making sure that Cole does not really get through any of these other riders, ending up in 4th position. Heo Zhangsu, however, ending up as 3rd. Great job by our Korean rider, who already was in a top 10 position. I think even not a top 5. But a top 10 position here for Heo Sung-soo. And those additional bonus seconds will maybe move him up or solidify his position in the general classification. Kim Hyun-suk ending up in 6th position in this stage as well. What a great result here for him. I did not expect that or see that here in this race. So really good job here by Kim Hyun-suk in today's stage. As you can see here now in the general classification, Heo actually moves up all the way to 3rd. So he was in a 4th position, now in a 3rd place here, shared 3rd with 3 other riders here in the general classification. Same time as the number 1, 2, and 4, which means that any bonus seconds that we can get would be beneficial here for Heo. Kim Yeon-sok with his 6th place also moving up a position. Great job by him. And Owen Cole also moving up a couple of positions there. A lot of riders here for us in the top 10 or in the top 20. Something to be proud of for us, as we have basically all of our team in the top 20 at this moment. Hoping to solidify or increase that lead here now in the 3rd stage of the Tour of Iran with a very steep uphill finish.
It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race. It is under a bright sun that today's race will be run.
A very difficult 3rd stage here for us, not one for the sprinters, as you can see. We want to send out Heo at first, but I think otherwise, as again we have that uphill section. In the end, I send out Kim Yeon-sok to see if he can get any additional bonus seconds for him, which could be beneficial for his general classification. And if the peloton does not very much chase towards the end, he does have a chance to win today's stage, although I'm pretty confident that that will not happen here in today's race. In the first in-between bonus points, he does get across the line here as first quite handily, so 3 additional bonus seconds here for our Korean rider. The rest of our team is in the peloton getting ready for that last mountain, making sure that they are protected as well as possible without making too much effort. Same thing here for the second in-between sprint points. Again, Kim Yeon-suk very easily riding towards those in-between sprint seconds, gaining 6 bonus seconds here in today's stage. Will that make a difference here in the general classification? Only if he survives the mountain that is coming up here for us. And we quickly jump towards the mountain. 7 kilometers remaining here in this race. Yu Sarang obviously leading out our train, the mountain specialist here for us. I want to conserve Kim Yeon-suk's bonus seconds that he's gotten, so I don't want to put him up front. I want to put him a little bit later. And obviously Heo is in such a good position in general classification that I'm hoping that he will maintain that and basically do quite well here in this mountain section, even though again the mountain's not really for him, but he is a puncher. He does very well in those uphill sprints, and I'm hoping that that will be something that carries him in in this stage here in this little mountain section. 3 kilometers to go. We are going through this mountain rather quickly. Not too much of a challenge of the other teams, as we are up in the lead here of this peloton. No other teams really challenging us for this position. They are happy to sit behind us, happy to sit behind our sprint train. Kim Yeon-suk sadly losing a lot of energy here. It is the breakaway that is breaking him, sadly, so not much of a chance here for him. Van Strijtem actually does a great job getting loose of the peloton, and a big sprint here with all of our riders at the 1 kilometer mark. Who will make it here towards the finish? Look at Owen Cole going past everyone here, moving towards that finish line and getting across it in first place. What an incredible job here by Owen Cole, moving past everyone, showing his mountain prowess here. Again, fantastic statistics here by him today. and showing those statistics off by winning the third stage of the Tour of Iran. Great job here by him. Florian Carpentier, where does he end up? A 5th place for him. And I'm hoping that Heo Sung-soo will not lose too much time here on the remaining riders. Hopefully everyone finishes in the same group, and that means that he can keep his position here in this race. Owen Cole, however, winning the third stage of the Tour of Iran. Not as successful in the previous episode, but thankfully showing that those statistics can be converted into wins and good statistics and good wins here in the Tour of Iran. A great job here by Owen Cole. As you can see here, 5th place for Florian Carpentier. Great job by him. 17th for Van Strijtem, and a 24th position here for Heo. So not finishing too much later here at this line, hoping that that will not negatively impact his positioning in the general classification, as they all got across the line at the same time. Owen Cole moving up plenty of positions, however, thanks to those bonus seconds that he's gotten. And Heo Sung-soo apparently beating out all the other sprinters here, making sure that he moves up into the 2nd position, same time as the rest. What a interesting statistic there, as we now have 5 people in the same time, with Owen Cole, being in first here in the general classification and in the mountain points as well. Of course, getting 25 mountain points here, basically shooting him all the way up into first place. Already was in first place, but extending his lead immensely here in this race. Great job here by Cole Owen. The 4th stage here of the Tour of Iran. Again, an uphill finish. Maybe good for Cole Owen and Heo Sung-soo. Once again, let's see if we can make something good happen.
It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining. And, of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
I disagree with the commentator for this one, as I don't think the sprinters will be very entertained with the hilliness of this stage. Yes, it is considered a flat stage, but I don't think that, especially with that final hill section, there will be much of a chance for the top sprinters or for the pure sprinters in this race. Heo Sung-soo, we're obviously defending in the peloton, as he is currently in 2nd. We're sending out Owen Cole to try and get some additional mountain points if the peloton lets him go. He is currently in 1st, so I would expect the peloton to chase after him, but there's already a 30-second gap, so maybe not too much. And we do make it towards this first mountain point, already very much in the lead of the mountain points, but there's nothing wrong with extending that lead, I would say. Very easily cycling away here from the rider that he is in breakaway with. And if we still have that 50-second lead here in this mountain point, might as well just cycle towards that first in-between sprint point. As you can see, doubling the 2nd best rider in the mountain point classification. So not too much of a danger there are the other riders in that classification. The red jersey, or the mountain jersey, basically secured. Heo here managed to get himself into the breakaway while Owen Cole got back into the peloton. Probably the peloton chasing slightly too hard here for us. And that means that Owen Cole was able to just get caught up, and it's fine. Another rider escaped, and that is where Heo got into the breakaway and got 3 additional bonus seconds. Statistically in the lead of this race at this moment. Onto this little hill section now with 6 kilometers left to go. The initial part seems to be the steepest, and then it rather flattens out. So as long as we survive this initial steep section, I think it should be okay for the sprinters after all, but we can push hard here and basically hurt all the other sprinters that are in this race that try to keep up with our pace, and that is what we will definitely do here with our Belgian rider up front. Obviously the rest of our riders as well. You see the statistics in the red here for Kim Yeon-suk and Florian Carpentier not having the best race here in the Tour of Iran, not doing so well, so I'm hoping that the other riders can make up for their negative statistics. Owen Cole also not having the best statistics anymore, but still we are looking pretty good. 1.5 kilometers remaining. It is still uphill, slightly flatter than the section before. 1 kilometer remaining. You see me sprinting here with everything that I got. Owen Cole from the wheel of Heo Sung-soo manages to get across the line here as first. A great win here for Owen Cole, extending his lead with additional bonus seconds. Heo Sung-soo with a 4th place just outside of that top 3 position. I was already betting on him also being in that top 3, but sadly moving just outside the top 3, getting passed at the last second here by one of these riders, and that means no additional bonus seconds here for Heo, except for those bonus seconds that he got earlier in the race. So still a pretty good job here by him, finishing quite up front. Owen Cole winning here in the 4th stage of the Tour of Iran, extending his lead once again in the general classification. He should have at least a 5-second lead here in the Tour, or I think at least a 4-second lead here in the Tour, if not more. So that should be pretty good, especially going into the last stage that we have left. Plenty of mountain points here also again for Owen Cole at the finish line. So once again, his mountain jersey was already not in any danger, and now he secured it even more. Looking here at the general classification, 3rd place here for Haeho Sung-soo, moving down a spot, as Owen Cole is definitely and surely 4 seconds ahead of the Estonian sprinter. Kim Yoon-sok still in a top 10 position, which is also unexpected. So Kim Yoon-sok actually, even though he has pretty poor statistics in this race, doing rather well. He's not really trying to be in that top position here in these sprints, but somehow managing to be in those top positions, not really trying very hard for them, and still in a top 10 position. That is our most experienced sprinter. Great job here by Kim Yoon-sok. On to stage number 5 with a downwards finish, so we need to be very much up front. Positioning will be key.
Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat. The race will take place under a bright sun.
A bright sun indeed, and there are some riders going into the breakaway. I decided to send out Owen Cole once again because there are mountain points up ahead, but you know, the jersey is already so secure that there's no real risk of us losing it, even if we lose or if we don't get any of these mountain points, or don't even get in first of these mountain points. However, I want to dominate that classification in today's stage. And again, you see here great statistics here by Owen Cole. In the end, the breakaway obviously got caught as Owen Cole, you know, a big danger here for the general classification as he is in first. So big danger here for the other riders, and that's why they don't let him go. Owen Cole getting across the line here as second, 71 points in the mountain classification, almost triple the amount of points of the second rider. So yeah, no stress here towards the other points. Last 7 kilometers now of this race as we skip the in-between sprint points and mountain points, as there's not much for us to gain, except maybe for Haeho Sung-soo. But again, the sprint will be more important here, as Haeho Sung-soo has minus statistics today. Owen Cole looking great in his positioning and his statistics, so I'm hoping that he will do well here. With less than 5 kilometers to go, trying to press and trying to push our riders all the way to the maximum, as we still have so much energy remaining on them, even though they are going all out, really basically going all the way towards the limit here in this final section. A very flat section after that first initial downward spiral of the mountain that we just crossed. And 1 kilometer to go. I sprint here with Haeho. I wait until the last moment here with Owen Cole, and he jumps from the wheel just to pass him here at the finish line. This could have been a win for Haeho Sung-soo, but he let out Owen Cole here in first place and did a great job doing so. Fantastic job here by our Korean rider, making sure that our American rider is basically successful and making sure that he gets the victory in the Tour of Iran. Sacrificing his own ambitions here is our Korean rider. So great job here by him. A big thank you to Haeho Sung-soo, leading out Owen Cole towards a victory once again. And as you can see, Owen Cole, the winner, once again, 10 additional bonus seconds will be there for him, and I'm curious, there's no threat for him in the general classification, so as you can see here, number 1 in the general classification. Second place here for Haeho Sung-soo, thankfully beating out Martin Laas, the Estonian rider here, towards the end. An 8th place, as I'm spying there, still Hyun-Suk Kim, who again did no effort to get into those top positions, but somehow managed to do so anyway. Owen Cole ending up with 81 points in the mountain climbers classification. Absolutely insane. Tripling the second place in points. I don't know why I wasted any effort going for the additional points here towards the end, but you know, probably for that reason. Sung-soo Haeho managed to get the points classification, so the points classification is for him. Great job by him. Hyun-Suk Kim getting into 3rd position there as well. Great job by our team. Every jersey is ours. And with a first place also in the general classification for Owen Cole and a second place for Haeho, we have that young riders classification as well. Haeho there in second as well. Nothing that we can do to make this better for us, except I guess a 3rd spot but we can be extremely happy here with a 1 and 2 in the general classification and in the Young Riders classification. An incredible result here in the Tour of Iran, and we are not even in the top 10 of the team classification. Okay, we have a 1 and 2. Come on, we should be up front here. So yeah, as you can see here, all 4 jerseys are ours. KoRail having 3 of them with the general classification, the Young Riders classification, and the mountain classification. Heo Sung-soo ending up in the first place for the points classification. So an amazing job by him. And here in this last stage, you can see him quickly passing the Estonian rider at the final part of this stage. Matthijs van Strijten moving up 13 positions there, ending up in a top 15 position as well. Great job here by our team. Basically, our entire team is in the top 20, and yet we're last in team classification. Huh, that's alright. I mean, sure, give that to someone else. That is fine with me, right? Nothing much to do there for us. So, great job again by KoRail. Great job again by KoRail and Sung-soo Heo. Doing very well here, making sure that we capture the victory here in the Tour of Iran. Let's quickly go towards the Gravel and Tar Classic, a classic race which should have been perfect for Paul Fietzke if this wasn't during the Tour of Southland.
And welcome. Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat. The race will take place in beautiful sunny conditions.
It's Australia. Of course, it's sunny conditions. And this is a very tough race with a lot of classic cobble sections and difficult styles here for us and difficult areas here for us to ride in. And sadly, our A team is in the Tour of Southland, so we need to do it again with our B team, which has proven to be well suited for these types of races either way. So I'm hoping to do well here with Heo Sung-soo or Florian Carpentier or our Belgian riders or Asian Fedeti, but the statistics are not in our favor today. 9 kilometers remaining. You see here we are on one of these gravel sections, which is very, very tricky for our riders. The riders are exhausted, even though this is a 1.2 race, right? So it is not one of the highest qualified races. Our riders are absolutely exhausted trying to just survive this race, even with their statistics normally being, I would assume, better than most other riders here in this race. It is just tricky for us to even be up front. You see the peloton has shattered as well. Only 22 riders remaining in the front part of this peloton, and you see how tricky it is for us. It must also be tricky for many of the other riders. I'm sure it will break apart even more here in this race, as only 6 of the riders are remaining here in the last 3 kilometers. A big gap of 15 seconds now towards the second part of the peloton. Other riders trying to breach the gap, trying to get back towards the front. 2 kilometers remaining. Some of these are already sprinting. It triggers me to send Carpentier basically. 1 kilometer remaining. Heo jumping from the wheel of Carpentier, but no additional energy remaining here for Heo Sung-soo, meaning that he does not get across these other riders. One of these sprinters here just barely beating him out towards the second place, and it ends up being a 3rd place here for Sung-soo Heo. Great job here by our Korean rider. Not a 1st place as I would have hoped. A visibility of 7, even though we should have scored a visibility of 9. That does not mean a failed objective, but you know, it's not really the 1st place that we were hoping for. Still, 2 riders in a top 5, 3 riders in the top 10. I'm not entirely sure why our visibility is only 7, as we've done very, very well here in this race. Great job here by Sung-soo Heo. Now on to the main event of today's episode. It is the Tour of Southland, the 9 stages of madness here for us in this tour. And we're starting off with this craziness, which I did not see, which is a team time trial section, which I have no idea how to do. So, terrible for us to try and, you know, do well here. Really not familiar with the team trial section or team time trial section. So you might already expect it for me. We are all the way at the bottom. Yes, we did not do well. I have no idea how to do these things. It was a 4-kilometer team trial section. I had no time to figure out how this goes. Next time I'm just simulating this. So we are behind now with 40 seconds going into this very short second stage. Let's see if we can make up a bit of that time.
The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a fast pace from the peloton. It's a beautiful day today. That should be to the liking of most riders.
A very short stage here in stage number 2, only 45 kilometers here. So definitely not really a stage where I think a breakaway will get away. One in between sprint point as well, so we're trying to get those bonus seconds as we are 40 seconds off the lead here of the number 1 in the general classification. We are all the way at the bottom, but we have 8 stages to redeem ourselves. Starting off with this very short one. You see here 1 kilometer to go. I do a big sprint here with Severy Savkovsky, our Finnish sprinter, who gets across the line here as first, thankfully. Some additional bonus seconds for Fietzke as well, as we are battling for those bonus seconds, just like everyone else here in this peloton. Going towards the end of this race now, less than 8 kilometers to go. This will definitely end up in a mass sprint, as the commentator would say. Getting ready now with our mountain riders who are leading out the pack. As you see here, I am not that concerned with their sprinting, as they will have to prove themselves later on in the race. The rest of our riders, however, should prove victorious here in this short but very intense race, where everything will be betted on this final sprint. 3 kilometers left to go. You see that many of our riders still have plenty of energy remaining, so I'm trying to go all out to burn that energy as quickly as possible. Keep us up front, keep us going as good as possible. A little bit of a corner there, so I want to be first into the corner. Big sprint here by Karl Christoph. Less than a kilometer remaining. I'm sprinting with everyone else. Karl Christoph, however, passing the other riders. The guy that left from his lead-out's wheel got basically blocked by Karl Christoph. 2 other riders passed him as well, and in the end, Karl Christoph being the winner of the second stage of the Tour of Southland. And fantastic job here by our Czech rider. Not entirely sure what happened here with our shirts. I'm pretty sure it should be the KoRail shirt and not this generic white shirt with the development studio's name on it on the shorts. But it is what it is. A win here in the second stage of the Tour of Southland, meaning 10 additional bonus seconds if I'm correct, and some sprint points, which doesn't really matter for us, as we want to end up towards the front of that of the general classification. 1 withdrawal, at least here in this stage as well. So that is interesting for us, as we should move up here in the general classification. Let's quickly check that part out. As you can see here, we move up a couple of positions here, especially Karl Christoph, obviously getting those bonus seconds and moving up to in front of some of his teammates. Now our best positioned rider here with 35 seconds off the number 1. So still a lot of time to make up here for us. Let's see what we can do here in this third stage, which is much hillier, much longer as well. It's 3 times the length of stage number 2. And again, I'm certain this will be a flat sprint towards the end. Some mountain points towards the end as well, so let's see if we can take those as well. It should be our stage, the third stage of the Tour of Southland.
The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a fast pace from the peloton. We've got absolutely beautiful weather for this race.
Beautiful weather here in the Tour of Southland once again. Do we want to be in this breakaway? Honestly, I would say yes, so that's why I'm trying to send out Cole Owen here. Best case, he gets towards the finish, he gets a bunch of points, maybe even wins the final sprint. Worst case, he gets some bonus seconds for the general classification, right? So sending him out is totally fine. In the meantime, we'll protect our other riders here with our Severy Savkovsky and Paul Fietzke. Karl Christoph sadly not in the best condition today with a -2 in statistics. Owen Cole here gets surprised by the Chinese rider, gets across the line here as a second sadly, so no good result here for him in this in-between sprint point. But that is okay. At least he gets some bonus seconds here for the general classification. And also in the second in-between bonus sprint, he gets passed very quickly by this Chinese rider. 3 minutes on the clock, but again, I don't think that we will make it towards the end. The peloton is already pushing, and as you can see here, we are nearing the end up until this first in-between mountain points, where Jae-won Jun moves up front and takes the lead here in the mountain classification. Very easy points here for him, able to just, get those points in the Tour of Southland. Here now, 16 kilometers left to go. Again, the second mountain points here for Jae-won Jun. The other riders of our team taking up the other points, so making sure that Jae-won Jun secures his mountain jersey for the next stage. And with less than 10 kilometers to go, we have the third and final in-between mountain points here, which go again to Jae-won Jun. A great job here by him, leading now as well in this downhill section, making sure to push real hard as he is one of the better downhill riders of our team. ensuring that we are now set up for that final sprint, which again will definitely end up in a mass sprint here for our team and for the rest of the peloton as well. So we try and push real hard here in this race. Jaewon Jun in the automatic status now also keep pushing himself, which I wish he doesn't. I wish he would just relax and try to sprint and try and get as good as a positioning as it is. But it is what it is. Less than 4 kilometers remaining here for our team. So we try and push on here. Try to, again, make sure that we waste, or not really waste, but use up as much energy of our riders as possible. Try to push the other teams all the way towards the limit. And you can see here that we are unsuccessful in doing that with most of our riders. So we do a very early sprint here with our team. Our riders are losing the sprint train a little bit. A bit of a corner here, which makes it a bit confusing. Less than a couple hundred meters to go. I sprint very late here with the rest of our team. I didn't expect it to go this quickly here in this third stage in the Tour of Southland. Didn't expect that those last 2 kilometers to be done so quickly here, or be so quickly done after that last corner. So I sprinted a bit late here with the team. You see some other riders though 4 minutes behind the peloton. That means that we will definitely finally move up even more here in the general classification. There we go, up into a top 70 position with some of our riders. Again, we got some bonus seconds here with Owen Cole, meaning that he is now the second best classified rider of your team. That's still, you know, it's still in the top 70 position, still top 75, so we are still almost a minute off the number 1. Plenty of time left to gain here in the coming 6 stages, but we'll have to focus on winning some of these sprints and try to do better. Maybe our sprinters are still warming up and maybe they're still waking up. Christoph KoRail at least has won 1 stage. Let's see if we can win some more in this windy 4th stage of the Tour of Southland.
Hello and welcome. Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat.
And plenty of mountain points here up for grabs in the beginning of this stage. So I'm going to send out Jaewon Jun here in the beginning. You see me hovering over Cole Owen thinking, wow, there's some mountain points here. I might as well get them with Owen Cole, as he is our mountain rider. Nope, we have Jaewon Jun with us, our basically second mountain rider of the team. I would say behind Paul Fietzke, but I'm not entirely sure what their statistics are comparatively. So I'm sending out Jaewon Jun, trying to reach over towards this breakaway, but the guy in the green jersey is already quite ahead here in this section. So Jaewon Jun needs to push real hard to try and even catch up to them, and the moment we get uphill or into that uphill section, the other rider just kind of bursts forward with a burst of energy and leaving Jaewon Jun in the dust. Making sure that he gets across the line here as second at least. So basically establishing his mountain jersey even more, but there's no point for me to really partake in the breakaway. So I let it go for what it is and try to focus myself here on this final in-between sprint point here that we have, gaining additional bonus seconds with Severi and Christoph, making sure that, you know, if we win a couple of stages here, we would move up quite a lot in this race. And making sure that we are focused on getting those bonus seconds. Other than that, we are making sure that we are now setting up for our sprint train here. As you can see me already moving my pieces into place with 7 kilometers left to go. Moving up here with Jaewon Jun, you see it dips down there towards the end. That means that positioning will be crucial, especially if it is a downhill section. You see me also repositioning Jaewon Jun here in this sprint train. He has +3 statistics today, so he's looking very strong. And if there is a downhill section where there is a sprint, he could be victorious in that sprint itself. So trying to keep pushing here, trying to get over this little hilly ledge to get towards that downwards area in the breakaway, trying to make sure that we are positioned correctly. 2 kilometers remaining here. You see some other teams starting to move forward as well. Jaewon Jun's early sprint here, trying to sprint with everyone now. I'm getting a bit stressed here. How does it go? How is it going? Where is it working? We're losing some positions here up front, but we do manage to stick relatively up front here with Christoph KoRail and Severi Savakowski. A second and third place here for us in the Tour of Southland. Not a victory, even though we were positioned quite decently, but I kind of messed up that sprint there towards the end. Also, Paul Fietzke here, still energy remaining, so I could have done better here in this sprint to get positioned more, or to get positioned better, and to try and sprint earlier with our riders, to get Paul Fietzke, and to try to get our other sprinters in a better position to win this 4th stage of the Tour of Southland. A second and third place, however, so still something to be proud of. Still additional bonus seconds here for our team. And we got additional bonus seconds in the final in-between sprint point as well. So that is good. As you saw there very quickly, Won Jun-jae getting plenty of mountain points as well. So he will be the leader of the mountain classification in the coming stage. And we move up a bunch more places here in the general classification. At least 3 more places here for our riders. Up now with a full, or almost a full, top 70th position here with our team. Slowly but surely moving upwards, trying to gain, or trying to get forward and trying to move towards that number 1 position in general classification. On to the 5th stage, which will be a time-defining stage, I would say. A big hill here towards the end. Perfect for Paul Fietzke and Jae Won-jun.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. A mountain terrain that commands respect, and only a strong man will have what it takes. It's certainly not a task for weak or ill-prepared riders.
Exactly. Our riders, if they were ill-prepared, they need to be better, and we have actually incredible statistics here for our riders today. Jae Won-jun +3, Paul Fietzke +2, looking really, really good. Even Owen Cole with a +3 statistic. So it is looking very strong here for our riders. Hoping that they will be able to get up this mountain as well as possible, because that is where the general classification will be determined. Now on to the last 6 kilometers here of this race. We are at the foot of this little hill or mountain or whatever you want to call it, where I am pushing hard with Severy Tavakovsky, putting our sprinters here up front. Making sure that they lead the way for us, determining the tempo, not exhausting our hill climbers too much. They will be exhausted for sure at one point or another, so might as well start with the sprinters. I did something weird here with Turnbull, where I'm not entirely sure where his button went to do anything. You'll see it later when it is his turn to take over, where something weird happens. And again, if you know what I did there, please let me know, because I am not entirely sure. Anyway, 4 kilometers left to go. Severy actually doing really well here, leading out this train. Pretty good, to be honest. I would expected him to lose energy a bit quicker and be done a bit quicker, but now we are apparently on the steeper section of this hill. You see here the group in front jumping away. Turnbull is going to lead now, and for some reason he is not going out of the wheel of Christoph Kroll, and I'm not sure what's happening here, so I need to send out Cole Owen to try and get him up front as quickly as possible. Again, Turnbull still following the wheel of Christoph Kroll, even though I told him to get loose from there and start doing his own thing. So Cole actually losing a ton of energy here in this sprint upwards. Jae Won-jun now trying to get his positioning up. As you see, there are some riders jumping away. Group of 5 riders remaining, however. Who will get to the line first? Is it Cole Owen? Is it Jae Won-jun? Is it Paul Fietzke? Paul Fietzke also in a great position here. You see the group slowly but surely gaining on the main peloton, which is great for us, especially in the general classification. And Jae Won-jun getting across the line here as first. An incredible job here by our Korean rider. Paul Fietzke, the German rider, again showing his class here in the mountains, getting a 3rd place and a 4th place for Cole Owen. So fantastic job here for our team. Honestly, an unexpected result here, getting a gap here on the main classification riders, and Turnbull there still attached to the wheel of Christoph Kroll. As you can see here, Won Jun-jae winning the race, winning the stage. A fantastic job here. 20-second lead over Owen Cole already. So that will do great for the general classification. I'm very excited to see where we are at right now. A French rider there in second, same time as Won Jun-jae and Paul Fietzke. Won Jun-jae, the number 1, obviously, in the stage as well for the young riders. What does it do? 62 positions up in the general classification here for Paul Fietzke. Won Jun-jae also 59 positions up in the general classification. So 2 people in the top 10 right now. Owen Cole also doing a fantastic job here, going up so many positions. Even our sprinters going up. So many of the sprinters and many of the other riders losing a ton of time here on the rest of our team. An amazing job here by us. 2 riders in the top 10. Still a bit of a gap here towards the number 1. We came in this race with a 30 or 40 second gap, I should say, towards the number 1. That gap has actually been extended for most of our team and most of our riders. However, the positions that we're in have increased incredibly. So instead of having a 40-second gap towards the number 1 and being in a top 70 position, we're now with 2 riders in a top 10 position with a 40-second gap towards the number 1. Maybe we can reduce that gap even more here in the 6th stage. There's a bit of a windy section before that hill. That is where I want to push, and then push up further up that hill to break the sprinters even more. Can we do that? We'll have to see.
The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing.
A mixed bag indeed, but for us the real challenge goes towards the end of this race. There are some bonus points and extra seconds to get. Additionally, some mountain points as well, but that is not what we will go for. We will go for that final section of this race. You see some bonus seconds there as well. We'll try and get those, then push hard in that windy section towards the end, break apart the peloton if we can. You see us here in the lead, 1 kilometer left to go. 1 rider jumping away from us. We sprint here with Severi Savakovsky, or try to, but I decide against it in the end and just try to push on here with our riders. This British rider, I think it is the British rider here, can get those bonus seconds, but what we want is to push on here in this windy section, maybe create some echelons, maybe break the peloton apart, and then have Jae Jun and Paul Fietzke set up towards the end of this windy section, towards the beginning of the mountain. And we have succeeded at that. Only 37 riders remaining in the peloton. 22 or 27 riders now in that second group, and more are falling behind, especially with this mountain section up ahead. I'm hoping that I have exhausted most of their stamina. You see also Severi with minus statistics. He was the ideal candidate here to lead us through this windy section. Absolutely exhausted, however, so he will lose a lot of time here in this mountain terrain. Kim Sung-bum now in the lead, pushing on here on this little train with 2 kilometers to go. So there's not that much length left in this episode. We have really good position, to be honest, here in this stage. We are all the way up front, 1 kilometer remaining. What can we do here? I see some other riders already pushing up forward, trying to gain their positioning. I'm hoping that they lost most of their energy, so I'm starting to sprint here with our mountain riders who can manage to be in front, who can manage to win this stage. We create a big gap here towards the remainder of the peloton. That means that there are extra seconds to win here for our team. Owen Cole winning the 6th stage of the Tour of Southland. Incredible job here by Owen Cole. 2nd place by Hwan Jun-jae and a 3rd place by Paul Fietzke. Turnbull also coming in 6th here in this 6th stage. I don't know why I want to say 4th, but it is the 6th stage of the Tour of Southland. A victory here for our American rider. Great job by him, being the strongest here in this hill section. I did not expect him to be the strongest, but it is his additional statistics and just, I don't know, his style here up this mountain. Maybe the other riders lost the wheel a bit much and didn't or weren't able to catch up with Cole Owen. But in the end, Owen Cole winning the 6th stage of the Tour of Southland. Incredible job here by him. Jae Jun in 2nd place and Paul Fietzke in 3rd. That means also additional seconds here towards the other riders. You see here a bit of a gap also between the initial 3 riders. So that means the rest should also have been gaps here. A 30-second gap towards the number 1 already. I think we had a 40-second gap here towards the number 1, so we won't be in the 1st place. We also didn't get any bonus seconds here, finishing 1st, 2nd, and 3rd here in the stage, because these hilly sections apparently don't give any bonus seconds. Don't ask me why, but that means that we probably won't be in 1st, but we are, there we go, in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the general classification. 15 seconds off the lead here, off the French rider. Owen Cole now in a very good 3rd or 4th position in the general classification. A surprising result here that the American rider has done so well here in these hilly sections. Jae Jun obviously doing well here in 3rd place, but same time as Paul Fietzke. It's just that Paul Fietzke has a slightly better positioning in the previous races, and that is why we are now threatening the number 1 in the general classification with 3 stages left to go. So that is very, very good by us, to be honest. We need to win a couple more sprints, or do a little bit better in a couple other stages, and here in this 7th stage it will definitely end up in a mass sprint. There are some hills up front, so maybe we can get rid of the number 1 in general classification in those little mountain sections and then sprint towards a victory with one of our riders.
Hello to one and all. The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a should be to the liking of most riders.
Most of the in-between sprint points and mountain points are towards the end of this race, so I am not going to be part of any breakaway. I'm going to relax here with our riders. If other riders want to exhaust themselves in the breakaway, they are welcome to do so, but that is not for us and not for our team. So let's quickly head towards the final area of, or the final kilometers I should say, of the stage. Less than 10 kilometers left to go. We still have one in between mountain point left, as you can see here, and we are setting up our sprint train because, again, the general classification is our most important point here that we want to go towards. KoRail Christoph with minus statistics leading out the bunch. He was not feeling that well today, so better to give him the opportunity to lead out and do the initial push and then see if he can do whatever he wants in that final sprint. Maybe go towards a podium or maybe at least a top 10, at least not lose any time, right? Let's say that. In the final in-between mountain points, you see our goal is more to establish our team and make sure that we are here up front. Wonjun Jae still very much in the lead of those mountain points. I'm not entirely sure how or where those are gotten again, but he did an incredible job to get those earlier. 1.5 kilometers remaining. It's a bit of a mess actually for the sprint, with Severy Savkovsky losing the wheel of Cole, and here Paul Fietzke not being able to catch up to Severy Savkovsky. A fourth place for Paul Fietzke, our German rider. Still a great result, but a third place for Severy Savkovsky. Additional bonus seconds for him, additional points, sprint points as well for him, and Wonjun Jae actually sprinting towards an 8th position there in today's stage. An unexpected, actually excellent sprint here by Wonjun Jae in 8th position in today's stage. That means that the rest of our team will move up some positions, leaving some others in the dust in that difficult mountain section before the sprint finish. Severy Savkovsky probably moving up a couple of positions as well, thanks to those additional bonus seconds. You see him also moving up to a top 5 position in the points classification, and Wonjun Jae very stable here in front in the mountain points as well. Still a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position here for our team. No additional gains here for us in getting up to that number 1 position, but we are hoping to get those gains here in the time trial. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the 8th stage is a time trial where you can see Paul Fietzke as one of the favorites. Obviously, as he has been doing well in time trials, my hopes are high for him, and we will take you to his time trial here in today's stage. What was it again? 8th stage of the Tour of Southland. As you can see here, I was controlling Cole, but I need to focus on Paul Fietzke, our number 1 time trialist in the team. He has been performing consistently in these time trials, making sure that he has a stable pace here at the beginning of this race. You see it going up a little bit here in the beginning, and this race is actually longer than you think it is. It says 8 kilometers there, but you'll notice once we reach that 8 kilometer mark, somehow there's an additional 1 kilometer, and that means that we need to have energy left for that 1 kilometer and really push there, because it is a bit of a windy terrain, and I think that is where the most of the gains are have. We pass Jae Wonjun here in this time trial. Our apologies, Jae Wonjun, you will be dropping down the general classification, but it gives a good showing here. It gives a good chance here for Paul Fietzke that to show that he is performing very well, already passing one of his teammates who has started, I think, 1 or 2 minutes earlier. So a great job here for Paul Fietzke, already gaining 1 minute on Jae Wonjun. You see here the condition for Fietzke is also very good. Cole and other riders sadly not as good in today's stage. One of our other best riders was Christoph KoRail here in a 19th position. So very good job actually by our Czech rider, who is not known as a time trialist, but our German rider here now in the last 1.5 kilometers. You saw there the 8 kilometers have passed, and then suddenly a jump up here from 1.5 kilometers where we push on towards the finish line, and exactly a new best time here by Paul Fietzke, and he maintains that time thankfully also here in this stage, gaining additional bonus seconds on the French rider. You see the French rider not even in top 10 here, so that is a good result here for us. Curious what that will do here in general classification. Have we taken over the lead? Have we reclaimed that 15-second gap between our 2 riders? Obviously, Jae Wonjun will not have reclaimed any of that gap, I'm assuming. Maybe he will have moved up. Maybe the French rider did even worse. But I'm assuming Jae Jun will have dropped some of those places here in this stage, as time trials are not for him. And as you can see here, a 68th place for him, sadly. Paul Fietzke gaining the lead in the general classification. What a time to gain the lead here in the second to last stage of the Tour of Southland. Owen Cole also moving down 2 positions from a 4th place to a 6th place. So not great for him, but a pretty good result for the rest of our team. You see actually some of our riders moving up, even though they haven't had the best results here in these time trials. Most importantly, however, Paul Fietzke currently in 1st position in the Tour of Southland. A big lead here, to be honest. A 43-second lead here on the number 2. And that means that we went from a 40-second deficit to a 43-second lead. And that is a lead that we will definitely maintain here in this last stage of the Tour of Southland. A very short stage here with 80 kilometers to go.
Hello to one and all. Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat.
And who do we have there in that yellow jersey? Of course it is Paul Fietzke. An incredible job here by him today. We need to make sure to control any breakaways that are going out to make sure that they are not gaining 15 minutes or 30 seconds even on Paul Fietzke. You see them forming, but I don't think that will be too big of a problem for us. Again, a very short stage here, only around 80 kilometers, so nothing too serious here for us in this stage. Bringing you here now towards the end of this stage, 6 kilometers remaining. You see our lead out is already going. We want to be up front. We want to win an additional stage here in the Tour of Southland, of course. Any additional UCI points and any additional funds is welcome for us. We want to be positioned properly. We want to be an attractive team for other riders for next season, and we want to be obviously well funded as well going into next season, the 2027 season for us, which will be, I think, very important, especially on our road towards the Tour de France. We want to show that we can perform and get good results there, as we have here today in the last stage of the Tour of Southland. I didn't even mention anything, but of course we have Severi Sabakovsky, our Finnish rider, winning the last stage here in the Tour of Southland. Our Czech rider in 2nd place and Paul Fietzke in 4th. An incredible result here in the last stage of the Tour of Southland. Honestly, I should have paid more attention to the sprint and to what was happening here in this last stage, but I was focused on our results and our stature and our goals for next season, which I'm very excited to show you guys in the next 0.5 episode. We win the general classification of the Tour of Southland. An incredible job here by Paul Fietzke. What a result here for him once again. Dominating performance, any race and any stage that he performs in. It just seems that he wins it. Whatever he does, wherever he goes, he just keeps winning these races. What an incredible job here by Paul Fietzke, our German rider. In the best climbers classification, we have Hwanjun Jae in 1st place, dominating in the mountain performance. Joseph Turnbull actually getting 2nd, even though that was definitely not one of his goals. But, you know, any mountain points for him, the better. No victory for us in the points classification. Severi coming quite close, but no chance there for us as the British rider here wins the point classification. Even though Severi, I guess there were no bonus points here in this last stage at the finish. It is what it is. It was not one of our goals. Our goal was to win the general classification, and we succeeded at that. Paul Fietzke obviously winning the young riders classification as well. An incredible job with him. Again, this was our A-team. I wanted everyone to see how we would do. I wanted all of our star riders to show what they can do and how they can perform. That resulted in a couple of victories from other riders, but in the end, Paul Fietzke dominating the general classification here in this Tour of Southland. Team classification is also for KoRail. Obviously, we have done incredibly here in this tour, and this is something to be proud of. The only lesson that I took from this, or the only thing that I will do in the future, is to simulate team time trials, because holy crap, I am uncertain how to do those. First and second place in the last stage of the Tour of Southland. Fourth place for Paul Fietzke. The rest of our riders getting across the line in a top 40 position. So still pretty good. Wonjun Jae moving up to 16th, which I am not entirely sure how, but I will happily take it for him. He deserves that positioning very well. Joseph Turnbull also moving up a couple of positions, and Severy Savkovsky being our last rider at around 8 minutes off the lead here of the general classification, but still one of the most victorious riders here in this stage. Points classification, as you can see here, third for Severy, first place for Jae Wonjun, incredible job by him. Paul Fietzke obviously winning the Young Reds classification, and we are first in team classification. Paul Fietzke, welcome back from your relaxation. This was the last race of the season. You can go relax immediately afterwards once again. Onto the total points, we've ended up at almost 5,200 points. An incredible job here by our riders. You see Paul Fietzke double figures in the point 2 races. An incredible result by him. The rest of our riders also doing extremely well, to be honest. Christoph Kroll dominating in the early season with the point 2 races. Sadly not continuing that line in the rest of the season, where Severy Savkovsky did incredible in point 1 races, winning 7 of them. So a fantastic job by him. I have to mention also our 2 best Koreans, Jae Wonjun, the mountain rider, doing extremely well in point 2 races and point 1 races. He is a star for the future. I'm excited to see what he can do there as well. And obviously Heo Sang-soo, our main sprinter from last season, doing incredible and still maintaining a good position here with the team. Even though his statistics are poor, he still had incredible results here in point 2 races, only winning 2, but plenty of third places there, as you can see. Now on to our basically graph that shows how we've done. You see a big peak here again for Owen Cole, passing Matthijs van Strijtem, doing incredible in these last stages as well. Paul Fietzke ahead above everyone else. An incredible job here by our German rider. 1,250 points for him alone. No one else even close to beating him. An incredible job here for him. Heo Sang-soo as well, jumping up a couple of positions, in the end being better than Joseph Turnbull and many other riders as well. So a great job here by our Korean rider. The best placed Korean rider in the end was Jae Wonjun. Great job by him, to be honest. Severy Savkovsky, our Finnish rider, beating out Christoph Kroll, our Czech rider here in the end. So a very good top 3 here, to be honest. All of them, or basically 2 of them, were sprinters, and then Paul Fietzke, our mountain rider and time trialist, who seems to be basically our bet for a Tour de France winner or a good Tour de France general classification if we get there at some point. Again, that is our goal. I'm sure we'll achieve it at some point. That is the end of today's episode. Thank you guys very much for watching. It is also the end of the season, so the next in-between episode we'll look back at how our season was, how we did, how our team has developed, and obviously look ahead at the next season and our new team, which I'm excited to introduce. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this season. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, I very much appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys next time. Goodbye.